Today, the FBI Director James Comey heads to Capitol Hill to face Congress over his decision not to recommend criminal charges against Hillary Clinton.
We have seen nothing but stonewalling and dishonesty from Secretary Clinton on this issue, and that means there are a lot more questions that need to be answered.
Okay, so what does Congress want to hear from Mr. Comey? Joining us right now is House Judiciary Committee member and Texas Republican Congressman Louie Gohmert. Louie, good morning to you.
Good morning. Great to be with you again.
Okay, so a couple of days ago we saw James Comey, 15 minutes. It sure sounded like he was about to suggest charges against her, but instead he let her off the hook. What can Congress do today?
Well, we can ask questions to get better answers, and sometimes if you ask the right questions, you can prick the conscience of people who have not been forthcoming and sometimes get them to do the right thing or go back. It sounds like, though, that James Comey is adequately rationalized beyond anything that is worthy of him or his office. You know, we were expecting the FBI to make a recommendation, and yet he goes out on a limb and says no decent prosecutor would do this, which was a lie. He said there was no direct evidence of intent. When somebody says take the header off of a classified document and send it by unclassified means, you have direct evidence. And for those that weren't paying enough attention in law school, there's a doctrine called spoliation. If evidence is in the possession of one party and that party destroys the evidence, the jury can be instructed by the judge that that is direct evidence of guilt of the defendant. And so there's all kinds of evidence here, and there have been a lot of people that have been treated much more harshly, particularly Petraeus. My word, he gives a calendar, gives information to a biographer. It was a weak case that he pled to, but Comey listed some things that were reasons why you would actually prosecute somebody. The one he left off was, if you have information that will destroy someone's election in 2012, then you better prosecute him. That was what happened to Petraeus.
A lot of people agree with you. Democrats are saying she's off the hook. Let's move on. In fact, Hillary Clinton's campaign manager, Brian Fallon, tweeted this out. Benghazi committee probe ended with partisan thud. So, of course, House GOP wants to launch new goose chase, this time about Comey and emails. So is this over now?
Well, no, and it's not just about emails. Chairman Bob Goodlatte had a great question. He had several great questions, but the last one had to do with what about the selling of the office? I mean, I don't know of anybody but corrupt dictators that have profited from their office the way Hillary Clinton has. And that was supposed to be under investigation. What happened to that? Yeah. Just talking about the emails, she didn't profit off that the way she did off her position by selling access. That needs to be thoroughly investigated because that stinks to high heaven. Yeah, if she'll profit off Secretary of State to that extent, think of how she will profit off being president.
Just remember the good old days when they only sold off the Lincoln bedroom, but that's another topic.
Yeah, that's a whole other topic. That's right.
Louie, what about the suggestion from some on your side who say because she has been proven, it wasn't gross negligence, extremely careless regarding our national secrets.
Grossly negligent.
She should not wind up with the security briefings that she winds up as a candidate. What do you think? Should she get it?
Not as a candidate. If she's elected president, there's nothing you can do about it, but certainly not as a candidate. But we've had people that have been impeached before from federal office and then get elected, and then they get classified material or at least secret material. So, but not as a candidate. She'd have to be elected, and the people would have to say, look, we know that you can't be trusted, but we want to trust you anyway, and we'll give you the presidency. But not as a candidate, not with all of these questions looming, not with gross negligence, extreme carelessness. She shouldn't be anywhere near anything classified.
What is your message to the people who are watching that still haven't decided who they're going to vote for?
Well, just wake up and smell the coffee. It's burned coffee and it stinks, and it's emanating from the Clinton campaign. You know, Donald Trump has made plenty of mistakes, but you know, I just can't see him selling his office the way she has. And intentional disregard, despite what Comey said, the evidence is there, plenty of direct evidence. Anyway, oh, and by the way, when she gave this stuff to her lawyers to go through, I haven't heard that they had clearance to go through this stuff.
Oh, boy.
Just giving over to her lawyers may have been direct evidence itself. So there's plenty to work from, but as we know, democracy ensures people are governed no better than they deserve. I hope and pray we deserve better than that.
Well, James Comey's heading to Capitol Hill to sit down and talk to you all.
We'll find out.
Yeah, we will. Louie, thank you very much.
Thanks. Great to be with you.